Court of Appeal in Abuja has reserved judgment in a case filed by Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara challenging a federal high court ruling that barred the Central Bank of Nigeria from releasing monthly allocations to the state. The initial ruling, delivered on October 30 by Justice Joyce Abdulmalik of the Federal High Court, faulted Governor Fubara for presenting the 2024 budget to a 4-member Rivers State House of Assembly. Justice Abdulmalik ruled that this action violated constitutional provisions and deemed the disbursement of monthly allocations by Fubara since January a breach of the Constitution. The ruling also issued an injunction restraining the CBN, the Accountant General of the Federation, Zenith Bank and Access Bank from granting Rivers State access to funds from the Consolidated Revenue and Federation accounts. During Friday's proceedings, a 3-month special panel led by Justice Hama Baka heard submissions from the parties involved. Fubara's appeal sought to overturn the lower court's decision and lift the restriction on state allocations. The panel also consolidated 5 related appeals stemming from the initial judgment. Justice Baka announced that the judgment will be reserved and communicated to all parties at a later date. Ugochukwu, what do you make of this development?
You know, the restriction of allocation to the Rivers State government is so one of those fallouts we expected to happen in Rivers State, and it has been long coming. It is not in doubt that this political quagmire will get to this length, you know. And also we have another leg that that the federal government is trying to play the motherly role. There have been counter statements and for and against whether the monies will be disbursed or not. But if we go by the letters of the law, it is a constitutional matter, because for a House of Assembly of 4 people, for a governor to present a state budget, you're not talking about constituency budget, you're talking about a state budget to a 4-persons constituted House of Assembly. It is an affront on the Nigerian law, on the Nigerian Constitution, and all that. So, but Justice Joyce Abdulmalik took the bull by the horn by delivering a landmark judgment, which is in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You know, when a House of Assembly cannot form a quorum of 2/3, they can do their legislative business. They can go there and there are specific kind of laws and the kind of legislations they can do. But when it comes to any form of legislation that requires 2/3 majority for an approval, I mean, it should not be hard that in this 21st century, Nigerian Constitution will still be upheld with sentiment, or will still be upheld by sentiment. Sentiment does not apply here, because we are talking about the rule of law. And you know that why people clamor for the democratic system of government is just because of the duties of the judicature, the legislature. Because if it's in a tyrannical form of government, or maybe a military form of government, or any other form of government for that matter, you will see that the judiciary is there, the executive is there. But once there is a military takeover, the first casualty is always the legislature, because they know that this is where the voice of the people are heard. That is what makes it a representational government, so to say. Because people from different constituencies, different wards, they elect people to represent their interests, those that they sent there to represent their interests and to voice out their concerns. So in anything the government is doing, for the people to be carried along, it is why the executive arm goes to the legislature to present their intention, on their desire to carry out any project concerning the people. So that those people who are representing the people will look at it, what is the benefit of our people for so and so project. So when you talk about a budget lifetime of a state and you are presenting it to 4-member house, it is an affront. And if you bring it home, you will now be asking yourself, the purported defection and the presentation, because let us not forget that this presentation was done to Amehule-led house, to Edison here. Edison here, who is now the chief of staff, the governor of Rivers State presented the budget of 2024 to Edison here. And Edison here, who has left the saddle, we have his own faction led by Oko Jumbo. So we are not talking about whether it is right or wrong that there was a defection or not, but the presentation of the budget came before the purported defection. So Martins Amehule going to the court, and the court granting Amehule the relief he has sought is in line, because there was no division in the House of Assembly, so to say, before the presentation of the said budget. So we should get this right. So Justice Abdul Malik was very apt in granting the prayers of Martin Amehule, and also the Justice Omotosho in his landmark judgment of January 2024 on January 2022, he said that the appropriation bill should be presented to Martin Amehule, and that the governor has no right whatsoever to, allot a sitting place for the House of Assembly, and that the governor has no right to meddle in the statutory allocations of the Rivers State House of Assembly. And the governor he also restrained the governor from further demolition of the house of the State House of Assembly. So all those things were embedded, and in the Constitution of Nigeria, as amended the Constitution of Nigeria, amended as of 1999, has already said all those things and stated it. The duties of the legislature, the duties of the executive, and this is what we are seeing in the landmark judgment of Justice Joyce Abdul Malik. Whether you are bringing in sentiment that Rivers State citizens will suffer lack of fund and there will be paucity of fund and all that. That is a secondary leg of it. Then who is to be blamed in this? The governor had an ample time to have presented the appropriation bill to the rightful house, led by Martin Amehule, because from December to January 2022 is not so long a time. And again, the appeal court reaffirmed the judgment of Omotosho. And in the midwifing of the political crisis in Rivers State, the 8-point agenda of Mr. President also made mention of presentation of the budget to the House. So these are the 3 legs of it. So anybody who is bringing sentiment and who is bringing emotion into it is not doing the Constitution of Nigeria any good. That is my submission, Laurentia, because this issue now, people are farming the embers of sentiment, embers of bias, emotion, and all that. But have we looked at the letters of the law? And from when this issue started, did the governor have an ample time to make a U-turn? If he is the person who is priding himself as an ambassador of peace, as he's priding himself. So if the governor wanted peace, he should have, corrected this anomaly. What Rivers people are going through now is solely, caused by the governor's inaction and actions, because he has a multiple time, even when a political resolution was sought. This presentation of budget, I've said it time with a number that it is I see it as a political ritual. The papers you're laying down before the House of Assembly is not the money, it's not the physical cash.
There are two
ways. It's not the physical cash.
When you look at it, let me probably make a case for the governor to some extent, if I may play the devil's advocate now. Now, on one hand, the governor, if at the end of the day, judgment is passed by Supreme Court and the Martins Amehule faction is legitimized, or the Supreme Court declares them legitimate House of Assembly, then the governor, one would say the governor has committed an impeachable offense. It's gross misconduct. However, if on the other hand, the Supreme Court rules in favor of the governor, then the governor can be said to be safe at this point in time. But then, let's look at it this way, with the current, what is obtainable right now in Rivers State. If the governor, now, let's say the governor already, to a large extent, according to Martins Amehule-led House of Assembly, the governor has committed gross misconduct, and they have written to the governor up to 2 times or more than that to present the budget to the Rivers State House of Assembly, and the governor has said he has derecognized them. Now, going by that action alone, one would say, okay, Martins Amehule, they have the locus to say, all right, this is gross misconduct and it's impeachable offense, yes? Now, let's say the governor decides to now present the budget to them. He can still be impeached by that action, because presenting the budget to them means that, one, he has accepted now that they are the authentic House of Assembly. Now, and he's presenting a budget that has almost expended its lifetime. So this is a situation where he will now walk into the lion's den with his eyes wide open. Do you understand? Because now he will be at the mercy of the Martins Amehule Rivers State House of Assembly. He will be at their mercy, because they can choose, after he presents the budget, to go ahead and impeach him, because he cannot defend spending up to that. The money has been expended. He cannot defend spending unapproved money from the budget. So now, anyhow you look at it, it's not going to favor the governor in a way. So is it not wise that he takes that decision and then probably leaves his fate in the hands of the Supreme Court?
You see, if you have listened to my analysis well, you will see that I said the governor had an ample opportunity. The courts have said, then there was also a political resolution mechanism put in place.
Which a lot of persons had concern,
yes,
that peace pact was not in the governor's favor.
It was in his favor, because his impeachment notice was withdrawn. And the governor was at the verge of being impeached. So he is the greatest beneficiary of that particular peace pact. Even if it's one, there is a sense to, you have a lot of options, but one among the options is of greater value than the other 9. So if you were to be a wise person, you choose to go for the one that has the greater value, because the Shakespeare said that the greater light dim the less. If there is a candlelight here, and suddenly a light that illuminates the candlelight, you won't even feel that there was a candlelight. But if the illumination goes off, the candlelight becomes the light. So this is why the governor and his handlers, I continue to say it, are the people who don't want the governor's progress politically. The governor's progress is hinged on him learning by the ropes to be a politician. Governor Siminalayi Fubara, with all due respect to him, don't want to become a politician. If you're a politician, there are windows that have been opened for you to cash in. Remember, the governor was priding himself as that, I have the red pen. Do you know what the red pen means? That I'm still in charge. Let me give you a stark example of what the governor and his handlers has failed to utilize politically. It is no longer alleged, or it is no longer them say in our local parlance that President Olusegun Obasanjo, former, knelt before his own Vice President Atiku Abubakar to secure a second tenure. Do you know what that means? That is a wise politician. in the class of Nyesom Wike that I can mention some names of some politicians in Rivers State that in Nyesom Wike that people thought they wouldn't see eyeball to eyeball. But today they are dining and whining. That is a political juggernaut. Politics is an interest-driven game. You are not dragging a land. You are not dragging wife and concubines. But you have an interest of where you are going. A politician always think things ahead of time. Look at, we're in 2024, people are talking about 2027. This is a politician for you. They are always thinking, trying to know their, even the late Ifanyoba was thinking about becoming the governor, vying for the governorship seat of Anambra State. Well, he never knew he would not be alive. The human nature is living with hope. Hope is futuristic. You not say, let me end it now. No, because I don't know what tomorrow will bring. Let me just relax and then feel what today brings. Before tomorrow, people get... Dangote was in this food and, household and in cement. But nobody knew that Dangote had been thinking of going into oil and gas. I'm shining all those who have been in that particular business sector. Today, he's a mega player. In the world, when you talk about, oil and gas. So when you talk about politics,
yes.
When you talk about this politics, I'm bringing it home. And Obasanjo, who is a sitting president, and he was looking for something, and he knew that Atiku will become a clog. Let's not forget that Atiku won as a governor in Adamawa State. With all the parties that came together and formed PDP, Atiku was a major player because of the former Yaradua, not because of the former Yaradua dynasty, the Musa Yaradua senior. So he came with his camp and they formed PDP. At the end of the day, he was picked as the vice. At the time, he had the interest of becoming the president, and he knew he had the political clout more than Obasanjo. Obasanjo had to go and beg, knelt down before him to get what he wanted. When Obasanjo got into second term, what happened? He whittled down the powers of Atiku Abubakar. And even wrote a book that Atiku cannot even challenge in the courts today. And it had been Atiku's undoing. And anyway, Obasanjo had, Atiku had a very slim opportunity of meeting Obasanjo. He became very happy that, I have met with my, because he knew that Obasanjo came. And you know the powers Atiku wield as a vice president in their first tenure. But immediately, Obasanjo got into that second tenure. What became of Atiku? So, the governor, Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State, would have played by the wisdom of, and there is a local parlance in Owerri, accept that I'm your husband as a woman and go about and do what you want. But at the end of the day, you come back, this is the wife of Ugochukwu or so and so. But outside, you are the big woman. So he has failed to utilize that window of political opportunity, and he has shot himself on the foot. Today, he has nobody to blame. So you are talking about presentation or that he can be impeached and other. No. If Siminalayi Fubara has taken the opportunity presented by Mr. President, he will not be where we are in Rivers State today. Because remember that before the mediation of Mr. President, Omotosho's case is already out. Omotosho's case was on 22nd of January. When did the president intervene? Then the presentation of the budget in its entirety was even a flaw. Because there has not been a defection or purported defection before you choose. And again, you made mention of the governor saying that he had derecognized Martin Samuel, who gave him that constitutional authority. The governor has no powers whatsoever inherent in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by his oath of office that he had the governor to derecognize somebody that he didn't appoint. He's not, that's what assembly member is not his appointee.
Right.
The other assembly members are elected and the elections conducted by INEC. So the governor was also elected by the majority of the constituents coming together in Rivers State to elect him. So he has no powers whatever to say that even from making that statement, it is also an impeachable offense. To say that someone who has gone through electioneering campaign, electioneering process, that you, by the word of mouth, derecognized. And when you talk about impeachment, it is not only Martin Samuel that have said it. The Apiko said it. The Justice Abdul Malik Joyce said it. So it is not the ways of... So the people who know the law has echoed what Martin Samuel was even writing to him in secret, in acknowledgement that this is a governor. Oh God, this thing you they do, see where you they go. It is a gross misconduct. It is an impeachable offense. We are not missing words in saying it. So whether the governor, whether the Supreme Court, because what the Supreme Court will be looking at, people are looking at purported defection as in the question you asked me, you have also alluded to that, but I am saying that the Supreme Court will look at the authenticity of the Martin Samuel when the budget was presented to the Senate here.
All right, very